and the media's lying D-bags claimed he took horse pills. Sorry, did I say lying D-bags? I mean stupid lying D-bags.
Can you believe, like, Joe Rogan?
Yeah, he's
eating dewormers.
He says he is taking several medications, including a drug meant for deworming livestock.
In case you missed it, Rogan said the word ivermectin. Yes, that's the deworming medicine made to kill parasites in farm animals.
When you have a horse deworming medication that's discouraged by the government, that actually causes some people in this crazed environment we're in to actually want to try it. That's the upside down world we're in with figures like Joe Rogan.
Sorry. Horse pills? More like horse. Of course, ivermectin's been approved for human use for decades, while these dopes OD'd on whatever turns you into a horse's ass. Remember, these are the people who get everything wrong. They can diagnose what Rogan puts in his mouth, but missed everything coming out of Chris Cuomo's. It's also ironic that Stelter would be critical of anyone about COVID, given he's a walking risk factor for every medical condition on Earth. He's a petri dish wearing extra-large sweatpants. He is to health problems what horse dung is to flies. He needs to mask up to limit his exposure to Cinnabons.
damn.
I mean, whose advice would you rather take? Rogan, who's built like a brick wall, or Stelter, who's built like an unripe avocado? So as usual, their ridicule was based on a lie, one they never rescinded. So Rogan called out CNN's very own medical expert.
Do you think that's a problem, that your news network lies?
Well, I don't.
Dude.
What did they say?
They lied
What did
and
they
said
say?
I was taking horse dewormer. Does it bother you that the news network you work for out and out lied? Just outright lied about me taking horse dewormer.
They shouldn't have said that.
Why did they do that?
I don't know.
Being the medical expert at CNN is a lot like being the executive chef at a prison. It's a nice title, but you're not going to put it on your Tinder profile. Of course, months later, Joe joined Spotify, and those COVID lies came back. And in a last-ditch effort to stay relevant, musical artists Neil Young and Joni Mitchell threatened to boycott, demanding Spotify dump Rogan. If they were any grouchier, they'd live in a garbage can. Although that might be where Joni Mitchell's lived since the 1970s. But it's weird how the usual defenders of artistic freedom decided to become corporate censors. They went from selling out arenas to just selling out. But if you aren't familiar with Neil Young or Joni Mitchell, here's a clip of their classics.
Oh man, take a look at my life. I'm a lot like you. Don't it always seem to go? Don't know what you got to this call.
You know, they're both from Canada, by the way. There must be something in the water up there. And judging by their voices, it's razor blades. Spotify shut down the whiny old farts, so the singers removed their catalog from Spotify. How did music fans react? Of course, during all this, how did we cover it? Roll it, Clyde. Now, the Rogan story has gotten widespread media coverage. Far more coverage than how small the risk COVID poses for young people. And you got places like CNN, jealous that Rogan often has more influence than they do, piling on. They don't like his dangerous ideas about free speech, exercise, and, God forbid, cracking jokes. There's likely no person on earth who's doing more to dismantle idea segregation than him. The roster of his guests are more diverse than the Olympic opening ceremonies, and they're allowed to speak endlessly about whatever so the listener can decide. It's the antidote to cable TV, where shows rely on the same people who say the same things over and over again. And no wonder CNN hates Rogan. He's widening the universe as they shrink it. I believe I am the true hero. I heard Rogan has a bronze bust of me right next to the bong. Here he is just Tuesday on his podcast where he claims Fox and others had his back.
Who would have thought that if you look back on the early days, what we used to think of as conservative versus liberal. Liberal was pro-free speech. People were open-minded, non-violent, and people were open to other people's ideas. And the right was like suppressive, the nanny state, condemn certain language, condemn certain behaviors. That's not the case today.
Yeah.
Today, the left has gone so far left.
That sounds really familiar. Keep going, Joe Rowe.
So radical that the right are the ones that are celebrating comedians and celebrating Chappelle. And
Yeah,
they had my back
it's
through all the
interesting.
crazy that happened with me. It was Fox News that had my back.
So this is the point I've been making since forever, or at least since Kat turned 40. That what you're seeing is the big flip. Whereas the left retreats into a woke cocoon of intolerance, the only real defenders of artistic freedom has to be us, which is hard. It's like I don't already have enough to do teaching glass blowing to marginalized communities. But it was a promise we made years ago that we righties must share the risk with liberals who are under attack, even if they hate us. If we defend those who may not care for us, whether it's Rogan or Maher or Chappelle, they may at some point see the value in the mission, because sharing risk is all we have in the battle for our freedoms. It's also the right thing to do, and it's something we know firsthand here, having endured the same treatment for decades. No one knows better than us. Boycotts, cancel culture, I've been there. The insults, the name-calling, the threats of violence, and that's just what I get from Geraldo. So we will happily defend others, even if they may still stubbornly claim to be liberals. And they may hate us. Doesn't matter. They need us more than we need them, because you're going to see the left split even further into warring factions, in which only one side is really warring and the other side is simply leaving. It's like a spouse divorcing a super crazy partner. Meanwhile, as the left makes humorlessness hysterical, the right loses its scolds and replaces them with fun-loving sickos. We go from Jerry Falwell to this. Which one would you rather have your kids grow up like? All right, bad example. And not because one's dead and the other one's dead inside. We are now the party of freedom and the party of speech. In fact, we are just the party. Because over there on the other side, it's no party at all. Fun is eroding faster than Joe Biden's frontal lobes. Because we know when you throw away free speech, other freedoms follow. And so does the fun, people. So does the fun. And by offering your hand to the people being attacked, they often come around. You can still disagree on many things, but there's one thing you can never abandon, and that's your right to speak and your ability to share it. So you're welcome, Joe.